Look at that. You know, when I come in, it's time to start. Meetings happen.
I'll move this back.
Or I'll see if we get any more information next week. We have a meeting.
Be nice to rehash what the
What he said to do.
Alderman, are you ready? Brian Duvall, you ready? All right, we'll call the meeting to order with roll call.
Mayors?
Here.
Hyde? Schulte?
Here.
Dietrich?
Here.
Moon?
Here.
Friends?
Here.
Peterson?
Here.
Coomer?
Here.
Bauer?
Here.
Mayor?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council will receive information on non-agenda topics brought before the council by members of the public. The council will not discuss these topics and will not take action on any of them at this meeting. Is there anyone who's on the agenda wish to be heard? We will go to consent agenda. One motion approves all consent items. Number one, approve meeting minutes from July 27, 2026, common council meeting. Number two, receive July monthly payments report. 3, receive July monthly building permit report. And number 4, receive July monthly ambulance report. Any questions on the consent agenda? I'll take a motion.
I motion.
Motion by Maris,
Second.
seconded by Schulte. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General business, we have 2 items. Number 1 is approve and deny resolution 4604-26, exempting the city of Reedsburg from paying Sauk County library tax. Jake, you want to take this?
Yep, this is the resolution we do year to year. So since we levy our own library amount, we're exempt from paying the county's library tax. So this just removes that from our levy.
Move to approve. Motion by Dietrich.
Second.
Seconded by Bauer. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, review and approve, review and approve or deny bids for field house. Max.
I'm going to give that to Steve.
Steve. Don't see no. Steve, how are you tonight?
I got some samples. Your own pads are all not done.
So we rebid it. You can see in the, I handed out that updated bid tab. So in the bid, we had 4 bid items, basically. So we had the wood floor, the blower fans. Option 1 was with the track floor system with the plastic style floor, which is the poured type floor. And option 2, which is the rolled rubber floor, which is similar to what we have in there now. So we gave them the option, they could bid on either one of those 2, and then or if they didn't want to bid, they didn't have to, and just had to bid on one of those options. So if you look at that, the first bid on the left, the H2I group, I believe they're out of Minnesota area. So they bid a Robbins bio cushion floor, which is 5-year warranty. That was in the spec. They did have blower fans, and I did talk to them, and they said they would not recommend blower fans, but they gave us a price if we wanted them. They bid on the plastic Sports 90, which was in the bid, in the spec. So they gave a price for that, and their total is $645,065. I'll get back to this. There's some differences between all of them. So in Schmidt Custom Floors, they did the wood furnishing. They used a Connor Sports floor system, which is even a little different, but it's similar. And then the blower fans, $5,200. I asked them about the blower fans, and they also said with that building, they said they wouldn't recommend putting them in. So they bid on option 1, which is, that's a similar to the plastic. It's not the same. I looked into it a little bit, and I called them, and I said, what's the warranty on it? And he said it's only a 1 year. If you look at the other ones, they're 25 or 30. And Option two, he bid on that. That's the team play OSST. That's the rolled floor, which is similar to what we have, and we did have that in the bid. So we did put a price for that. So you can see the total bids for them. Now these two, if you look at the top with the wood floor, in the bid spec, we had that the floor needed to be anchored. And these two are not anchored. They're a floating floor system. So it's a different. Go on top of the existing rubber. Before I looked into that. Pros and cons of both. I'm sure Dave, you probably know a little bit about it, but it's going to expand and contract. It's such a large floor. If you have it floating, it's gonna push out against that rubber floor. How much? I guess we don't really know. If you have it anchored, you have less chance that it would push out against that floor. It will a little bit, but if it's anchored, you have less chance of it moving than the floating floor. Now, with the anchor though, you can also possibly tear an anchor out. But in the bid spec, it did say anchored. So when you look at these bids, those first two are not anchored floors. So just so when you're comparing, it's not apples to apples. So the next one is the ProStar Surface company. So their wood, you can see their wood floor is the action floor system, which is, I'll pass it around, which is this floor here. It's got the pads on the bottom. Is it anchored through that plywood, through that plywood to the rubber into the concrete, but they shoot it in. So it'll be shot into the concrete through the plywood. So there really wouldn't be much give at all. So it'd be shot into the concrete through that plywood. So they also did bid on blower fans. They did bid option one, which is the poured floor. Now they use a Target Sports. It's similar to the plastic. It's just a different company. Well, they say it's a 30-year warranty, but it's a prorated warranty. Option two, they did bid on that for the OSST, so that would be the rolled floor similar to what we have. So you can see that the price is higher. For if you did the poured floor, they're $710. And ProStar did bid last time too. So then you have Basement Brothers. They also bid last time. So they're proposing a Robbins Bio Channel SB, which is, I'll pass that floor around. This is the floor they're proposing. So if you look at, this is anchored. There's a channel, and that would. The rubber pads, and there's two different options. There's this one, and then there's
Similar. All these passes around. Pass it, that maybe gives you a better crop.
So. And then they bid on the plastic Sports 90, which is also in the bid spec. They did not bid on the rolled floor. On all of these, I talked to all of them about. I know it was brought up last time I wasn't here, but if you have a cut or something that goes wrong with that rubber floor. And they all said the easier one to fix is the plastic one, because you can mend that, you can cut a piece out. They'd bring the resin, redo it. You wouldn't see the seam. They can pretty color match. You might notice a little bit of difference in the color, but it'd be close. With the rolled floor system, you got to cut it out perfect, set it back in there. You're always going to have that seam. And remember, this is just for the track area. I guess what I like about the poured floor is it's a 25-year warranty. That's a long time, or 30. I think the dome was only 30 years on the fabric. So I mean, we'd be replacing the fabric before that warranty would run out, basically, on the poured floor. So if you strictly go by the bid for the spec with the two, they're not anchored. So then almost if you throw them first two out, like I say, there's advantages and disadvantages to both systems, but if you go by the bid spec, you could throw them first two out, then you're looking at the ProStar or the Basement if you want to compare apples to apples. Well, then between the ProStar and the Basement, I know this isn't easy. I know we went through this a lot with the wastewater plant, buying equipment, and you're trying to buy one piece of equipment and there's 10 different manufacturers and they're all different. So between those two, the rubber is the same. So it's a little different, but it's a different company. But if you went with the plastic, it's similar. It's just the wood. They're the different systems and how they anchor it. So that would be the difference in those two. Just from an engineering standpoint, the Robbins floor system looks like a better system, but I'm not a floor expert. I've learned what I could in the last 2 weeks on this stuff, but just by looking at it, that looks like, but I understand there's more cost there.
Steve, quick question for you. You said it was the action floor system that they shot in?
That one, as far as I know, that's how they do that. They shoot it in.
And you know as well as I do how that goes when you shoot into concrete.
I know.
Kind of blowing it out.
I mean, I just found that with searches that I did. So I didn't ask them directly if that's how that's done, but I would assume that's probably how they do it. I know for a fact they drill. I talked to the owner on Basement and they drill it in. Because there's everything in that building, there is conduit, so we have to
mindful of that.
There's electrical conduits in there, so we have to get that all marked. We'd have to know where that is before they start drilling holes or shooting into that floor.
May I ask, the bid sheet was for anchored, and I know two of these here are a different floating system. Is there a reason? I mean, is the anchored preferred in your mind? Is that why? Or because it seems like a floating system would avoid at least the potential of hitting some pre-existing infrastructure.
Yeah, well, we first talked with a flooring company out there. They had suggested the anchor system. So that's why we did in the bid spec with the anchor. They thought it would be better for that building to have it anchored. Um, you do have times in that building where you have humidity because, well, it's coming up this time of the year. So when you get towards fall or in the spring, so there's a thermostat in there. They set it at 70 or 69, whatever they set it at. Okay, so on a day like today, it's hot, humid, and the air conditioner's running. But in the fall, you could have a day like today, and then at night it gets down to 50s. Well, that air temperature drops in there, and it shuts that AC unit off. Well, there's humidity still coming in here because the thing that's blowing that building up is just sucking outside air in all the time. So you're sucking that 50-degree humid air in there, and the AC is not running because it says, "Hey, I'm at the temperature. I'm not going to run." So in the mornings it can get muggy in there, and then when the temperature rises outside and it starts rising inside, then all of a sudden the air kicks on, and it'll take the humidity out. So you do have during the summer it's always nice in there, but in that spring and the fall there is those times where you have humidity. So I think that's another reason why they suggested an anchored floor, because with the floating, you could have more issues. It would expand and contract even more. So I think and it makes sense to me, so I think the only way you can get rid of that is if you put a humidistat in there to try to say, hey, I know the temperature's here, but keep that AC running. And that's something that could, be potentially looked at for that building, but because you do bring humidity in there in the fall and the spring. Now I asked Kyler, who runs Just a Game, when the building was first done, we did have a lot of moisture on the floor in there for the first 6 months that place opened. And we did a bunch of things. So we tweaked the AC unit, we tweaked the blower. We had a local guy put louvers on so when the AC would blow the air and it was blowing it right across the floor, and it would cool the floor super cool. And then it would just, with the warm and the cool, it would be wet. So we made louvers to shoot it up into the dome. And since we've done all that stuff, he hasn't noticed any floors being wet in there. So we've taken care of some of those small issues, I think, after the first year of that dome being up. But that's another reason why they suggested the anchor. So that when you look at this, I mean, the two lowest ones are without the anchors, but technically in the spec it had anchors. I mean, I think you can look at, like the ProStar and the Basement. They're both anchored, but I mean, they're comparable floors, and same with we kind of follow the spec for the plastic Sports 90, but the Target is a similar product than the plastic. So, I mean, it would qualify in the bid. It's a similar product. I didn't look comparing those two a lot into it. I know that plastic 90 that's been around for a while. I know that came from the Netherlands. It's a really good product, what I could find. A lot of people use that for the whole floor system. And it can be redone. So if you, like in the future, if they ever wanted to redo the lines or something, you can redo it pretty easily.
Mayor?
Yes, Phil.
So I've talked to Steve about this, and I've done my own quick. I mean, I think we have to remove the first two because they're not.
Mhm.
They didn't follow the specs, and we can't compare them to the people who are anchoring. I mean, there's labor and
Right.
But the ProStar and the Basement. If you look at the two floors and you do a comparison of those, the Robbins floor is designed to have more load on it. Features and moving stuff around. But I don't think we have a lot of
heavy stuff inside?
I mean, the heaviest thing go on there would be if we ever got to do anything with those lights, which we will, would be a lift. And then we'd have to go in there and any of these floors, we'd have to put plywood down and leapfrog
Yep.
I mean, you do that.
That's what we do.
In high
Yep.
school.
But I think, the two floors, the two companies, they're pretty close. I mean, they're 30,000 different, but the thing nice about the basement is their warranty is stronger. It's not pro.
Right. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Basement is, as a non-applicable for, blower fans furnishing, advantage, disadvantage. The other two said they could do it, but they don't recommend it. And ProStar, I'm assuming would recommend it or they're okay with it. And Basement doesn't even have that in there. I'm just.
Oh, with the blower fans, yeah.
Correct.
The basement, so in the spec, we said if you don't need fans, that provide something from the manufacturer to say that they're not needed. And we have information from the manufacturer saying that the fans are not needed for their floor. For the basement floor.
On your day job, you've dealt with this and what's your feeling on that?
If floors have changed, they're not the same as they were even 10 years ago. So that system that they brought around here, that Robbins bow channel, that definitely is very nice. I mean, it's going to be a good floor. As far as if their manufacturer is calling it doesn't need to have, blower fans because it's got enough air clearance with the floor, it should be just fine.
It's fine, but I hate to be wrong.
Right. Well, then we do have it.
Kind of a sticking point last time.
It was.
Yeah,
definitely.
we were pretty adamant that you had to have a blower.
Doing a little bit of research of my own afterwards too. Floors have changed. They're always constantly updating and making things different. And when they pass that one around, I mean, that Robbins bow, that channel is pretty big on that. It's definitely got room for breathing.
Yeah,
I think. Are you down here? I think the biggest thing just what I would know about it is it's the humidity. I mean, you just gotta, if you have blower fans, okay, it's okay, but you're just blowing humid air through the system. The problem is the humidity. You have to get that humidity out, and you'd be better off sticking money, I think, into doing something with a humidistat or something like that in that building. And then otherwise you're just blowing humid air down through there, which isn't really helping.
With that outside air coming in like that, as you described, that wouldn't be on the bottom of the floor. That'd be on the top of the floor. So a blower fan wouldn't really do it any justice that way.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never seen any moisture coming up through because you've got that rubber on there and then there's that concrete's pretty thick. I haven't seen any, well, I mean, everyone knows that that's a dry area. You're up on a sandstone. It's not like we're in that's a wet area. The drainage is good, everything. We haven't had no, knock on wood. It's been,
right.
That dome, I haven't been up there hardly at all in the last 6 months because they haven't had any troubles. Since the first year was a lot of issues, but
mechanically
growing pains like anything new. But once we got all the bugs out of it, it's been really good.
Now you've jinxed yourself.
I know I did.
I
It
guess
doesn't leak. It doesn't.
To sum up,
I mean,
with that, I mean, what I saw, what I seen online, I'm definitely comfortable with that system, the way that would work. Especially the experience I have with that is a totally different subfloor compared to like Steve was just saying is up there. I mean, when you're talking the middle school, it's
In your site,
it's wet. Yep.
the site itself.
Yep. Yep. The subfloor is wet. It's the concrete.
The whole building.
Right.
Did ProStar have a feeling of whether or not they wanted the blower system?
Max, you and I were there, and we really didn't get at the one time when they looked at it, they didn't even bring the blowers up, and then kind of at the end they brought possibly putting blowers in, so it wasn't really on the top of their list.
Gotcha.
For
I'm
the
just wondering,
blowers.
should they get awarded it, if you change order that
Yeah.
out, then. Yeah.
I want to echo what Steve was saying. I think we'd be, if that's the case, if that's kind of where we're going towards with not worrying about that end of it, we keep that momentum of thought process going and look into putting in a humidistat to add that as a feature so that we have less of an issue in that in between spring and fall season where the air is shut off. You still got humid air in the morning, like a morning like this morning.
So if both of the last two bid to spec, because they technically did, because there was an alternative.
Yeah, and they were
flooring.
the two that were the last, basically the last time where it's the same. The last time there was another third that they didn't bid. So these two on the left were new bidders.
Mhm.
The two on the right are the were
guess my-
bid last time and they are to the spec, correct?
And choose then? That's a question for you, Max. Or do we have to load it or give it to the parent low?
Yeah, so they're both to spec, but the floors are slightly different, as you guys have seen. This isn't something where you're like building a road. There's more nuance to it. So you don't have to go with the low number.
So what about the warranty? I think that's a thing that should be considered.
Yeah, and maybe Steve can explain the prorated warranty, because that way everybody has a good understanding of what that means.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a full coverage then. So if it, let's say in year 10, you wouldn't get a full coverage, where the other one, how I understand it, if it's year 10 or 15 or 20, that if it started peeling and stuff, they would replace the whole thing, labor and materials included.
So I went a little different because I don't know anything about the wood floor. So I was looking at the track system because I was the one the last time was like a poured floor. I've always had problems. You got cutting out, making it match and stuff. So I did I can't say due diligence, but I did my research. I hate it when people say research. I did what Google AI told me. No, anyway. But I did my digging into the poured floor, and I do have to kind of do my reverse track on that one because it looked like this plastic floor really is just about a ton of different places, and people really do stand by it. I was, again, something new to me. I've never built the track floor, but I kind of sold me on that one.
The feedback I've gotten on that floor is it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the warranty covering all 25 years. That's always my concern, is if something goes wrong, how do you fix it? I'm a big fan of strong warranties. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I wished I'd looked into the blower thing, but I just couldn't.
Yeah, when you bid this stuff, it's hard because it's not all exactly the same. But at least the two on the right are and the two on the left, but they didn't, we want anchored. So then it's not, those technically aren't the same.
Forgive me if I missed something. We also have an NA on the track floor system. Are they not replacing that, or is that?
Well, that's for option 2. You're looking on the very far right one.
Basement, yes.
Yeah, the option, they didn't give a price for that'd be the rolled floor system. They didn't give a price for the rolled floor, just the poured one, John. So,
Got it.
And same with the H2I grade, they didn't give a price for the rolled floor. In their opinion, the poured is the way to go.
Thank you.
What was Just a Game's recommendation? Or did they not?
I talked to them. Their biggest thing, they would rather have anchored. Their other issue is the timing. So they have a big, huge tournament in September, the end, and then whoever gets it could have it from month of October and November. And then they have another tournament, I think the second weekend December, was it?
Yeah,
It's the second week of September.
I believe it's December 15th is their next.
Somewhere in there. So
They really want it done by December 1st, essentially.
yeah. So they have 2 months. And I talked to pretty much all of them except the Schmidt one, and they all said that could be done. They basically have about 9 weeks to do it.
To address Jason's point, Max sent that email around just before the meeting that they have a history with ProStar, but he also kind of.
Right.
Yeah, I think whichever one you pick, I mean, if they still want to use ProStar after the warranty stuff, they can use them for maintenance, and it'd be up to, because you still got to finish them on all of them. You got to probably do a finish once a year or once every 2 years at the minimum.
Is the blower fan system something that could be added on later, since 3 out of the 4 don't recommend the fan?
I would assume you could. It depends what kind of floor we go with. So with the basement, there's 2 different options that we can go with. And that one is if you look at that one, this one here. This one, how I understand with this one. This is a better line.
I think, yeah.
Well, the display has really nice piece of plywood though. No.
Other questions for Steve? Comments, thoughts?
I just a lot. We do the wastewater plant. You guys aren't involved with that as much. With we bid out all that equipment in there. So, and there's a lot of equipment in there. So we bid it out, and then we had sheets just like this that Ben would give us, and then we basically went through the equipment, and then we picked, okay, this is kind of what we want, because there's so many different options for wastewater equipment. And we didn't always go with the low, because sometimes you just say, no, we don't want that one because this operator said it doesn't work and we don't want problems. So we would go, and then it would be in the bid pack. You guys approved it at the end, but you didn't see all the background work that went into it to get to where, when you approved the bid. Because then we said, okay, we took all those, we put it in the bid package. So then the contractor buys the equipment that we said, this is what we want. But we did bid all the equipment, but we don't always take the low bid, because sometimes you're not comparing apples to apples pretty much with everything in that plant. That was why we took trips around the whole US and Canada looking at equipment to make sure we got what we wanted. So it was worth the time to do that. So you don't always have to go. And this is something similar. You're buying it's like Max said, you're not building a street. It's
not cut and dry.
It's not cut and dry. So, and you want this to last a long time. We don't want to go through this exercise. At least I don't want to.
Remember, we also we didn't take the low bid last year on the curb and gutter project. It had to do with the experience of the contractor. So yeah, there's, if we're talking apples to apples, fine. But if we're talking apples to chicken wings, then we gotta make a call. And we don't have to chain ourselves to the low bid if it's not what we want.
Anybody else? Motion's in order. I'll take a motion.
So I like to make a motion.
Mhm.
Out of all the bids I really do prefer the basement bid overall, even though it's slightly more. And then if we do, let's say we voted on that one, we get to pick a floor. I really like this one without the bigger, I don't know, it doesn't have a, oh yeah, it does.
It's got the anchors
Pilot
in it.
channel star.
Yeah, it has the anchors in there.
Yeah. I do prefer, I don't like shooting into concrete.
Right.
Never ever stays for
No.
me.
No, they usually blow out.
Mhm. So how do I do that? I'd like to make a motion, buy this floor. No,
The one with the,
basement.
yeah, Basement Brothers with the option with the
With
pad.
the biochannel star.
Yep.
Second.
Motion by Maris, seconded by Moon. Any further discussion?
I'd like to add that I think that motion and that second is the warranty, as Roy mentioned, that's just added
That's huge.
comfort.
Yep. Motion to second. Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Thank you, Steve. Let's move to commission, committee, board and staff reports. Historic preservation.
Sorry. Thanks, Phil. We have met tonight just before this meeting. We are in the process of getting a donation form, the verbiage just right. I think we're there. We'll hopefully have that approved by the next meeting to run it up the flagpole to make sure that the legalese is proper on that. And then we are also kind of starting the process of a CLG or GLC grant. Hopefully we could get a little grant money to do some workshops to help people understand rights and wrongs, do's and don'ts for preserving photos, documents, tools, various product, household items you might have or family items you might have to make sure those are preserved properly.
Very good. Productive meeting.
It was.
Personnel committee.
Personnel committee met last week, and Max just gave us some preliminary thoughts on the health insurance side of things for the budget coming up this year and next. And then we just had a brief conversation about the plans for staffing changes as people retire.
Those are, I'm definitely on the doorstep. Any other committee, commissioner, staff member that want to report anything that haven't been mentioned? All right, Office of the Mayor. Don't have a whole lot new other than it's kind of neat. On Saturday, I took my wife and grandson downtown to watch the over 50 semi convoy come through town. That was part of the Badger State Trucking Show, which was really, really neat. There's a lot of people downtown. It's just another neat little thing that was able to be done here. And I know they're looking forward to bigger and better for next year as well. So other than that, I think we got citywide garage sales coming up here in another couple weeks. School will be in session before we know it, but we'll talk before then. Aaron Bauer.
Nothing tonight.
Jay Coomer.
Nothing nightmare.
Phil Peterson.
Nothing tonight.
Missy Friends.
Nothing. Thank you.
Dave Moon.
Concert in the Park series continues Wednesday night at 6:30 with the Reedsburg Community Band. So a lot of local talent playing. So check it out.
They've been practicing hard. Max Buckner.
Nothing for me.
Jake, I know you have something.
Yeah, don't forget to vote tomorrow. Polls open at 7, close at 8 p.m. If you have an absentee ballot, please return that by 8 tomorrow to City Hall.
Thank you much. We'll see you tomorrow down there. John Dietrich.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to go out on a limb here a little bit. Usually when we ask to forward something to the state Senate or the state assembly, we like to talk to them first and give them a heads up. Well, thanks to the mayor, I was able to have a brief phone conversation with Tony Kurtz. But Aaron and Sonny and I were at the citizens meeting last Thursday with the courtyards and also from Steele's Mobile Home Park off of County Highway A outside of Lake Delton, because they're owned by the same outfit and they're doing the same type of practices with unilateral lot fee increases and other fees and late fees. I did speak to City Hall, just prior to that, but I'm hoping that we can get some movement on, perhaps as a council to craft and consider a resolution in support of SB 1027 and AB 549 for helping the people in the courtyards to, from being victim to the predatory fees and rate increases. It appears to be the MO of this organization that owns the lots, that they're not the only ones. And we can't do anything as a council, but the state can and should get involved in this. And I hope we do. I hope they do. And I think they will if we show some support and get behind this.
We'll look forward to seeing that come for the council to take a look at. Jason Schulte.
Tonight, thank you.
Roy Maris. All right. I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Missing. Seconded by Jake. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I didn't think so. Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.